Andy Johnson. This is an overview of our meaning-based reading intervention for level 2, and this is a pilot based on the idea that reading is creating meaning with print, not sounding out words. Most reading interventions that I've reviewed focus only on sounding out words, and they are minimally effective. This intervention focuses on meaning making. When we have word study, the words are put in meaningful context to the greatest extent possible. This enables the reader to develop all three cueing systems. This is level 2, meaning it's for struggling readers in grades 3 through 5. It can be used for general remediation, or as it's being used in our field test schools for RTI Tier 1 and 2. Based on the idea that the brain uses three cueing systems to identify words during the process of reading: semantics, context; syntax, grammar and word order; and phonics, letter sounds. These activities are designed to be short and briskly paced, 2 to 8 minutes each. There are 6 activities in each lesson. The entire lesson, the intervention for that day, is 12 to 25 minutes. The purpose is to develop neural pathways. We don't teach reading, we enhance students' ability to create meaning with print. All right, and again, this develops all three cueing systems. Now, vowel sounds are used as the organizing structure. There are 4 to 5 lessons within each vowel sound. But again, semantics, syntax are developed, as well as beginning consonants, blends, etc. 4 lessons plus 1 additional lesson with each vowel sound. So there are anywhere from 40 to 50 total lessons. As always, adopt and adapt. You know your students. Keep it positive. Use only the ones that work with your students. It can be done individually or in small group. I recommend using a computer with either a large screen in front of the room or a screen big enough so that an individual or small groups can see it. Now, most of the activities here are on PowerPoint. This enables you to move quickly from one to the next. There are 2, maybe 3 that use paper. For progress monitoring, one simple way: pre-post for word identification. You've got your short A words. Assess before and after. Give the list of words either on paper or you can see them on screen, and ask students if they can identify that word, plus if they can, minus if they can't. That's one way to do it. I believe in running records. Pre-post anywhere from every 2 weeks to every 4 weeks. Use the same piece of graded text so you can see differences in pre and post. Others, we have fluency scores, maze for comprehension, and story retelling chart. So let's get on to it. Lesson 1. Here are the things we do. Every lesson starts with a language experience activity where the students dictate their ideas to the teacher. It can be done in small group or individually. The sentences that students say are recorded on a Word document, as you see me doing in the screen there, or on a poster. Minimum of 5 sentences. Once they get their 5 sentences, they reread until fluency is achieved. And I usually ask questions. What did you do last night? What do you want to tell me today? What are you thinking about? All right. The paragraph is reread until fluency is achieved, usually 2 or 3 times. But then, analytic phonics mini lessons. That's where you say, I'm looking at a word here that has the ch ending sound. Can you find the word? Finally, these stories are saved and dated so they can be used for reading practice on subsequent days and more analytic phonics lessons. The second activity is word building. They build words. These are all used to reinforce letter patterns and word parts, but these are short A. So they begin seeing not individual letters, but word parts. N, ap, in. Napping. Very good. And you go through this relatively quickly, 2 to 8 minutes in duration. Close, to develop the semantic cueing system. So you begin to use context instead of looking at individual letters. Adam was packing his B to go home. They're designed to be obvious, but as you can see, each sentence reinforces the short A letter sound. So it's kind of a 2-4, reinforcing that letter sound in pattern and developing the semantic cueing system. Fluency activities, lessons 1 through 4, have these. It can be paper-based, or if I'm using one student, I usually use the screen. We have some silly stories in each broken down into one-day section. In each section, a 40, 50, and 60 word increments are designated. And you can see it right there, the designated words right there. Yep. So the student reads the story for that day through 3 times, stopping at their target word designation. You say go, and you time them to see how long it takes. And you record the time, and then at the end, students put their times on a line graph so they can see themselves getting better, develop self-efficacy, and you have some nice progress monitoring data as well. These are silly stories, a lot of repeated words, a lot of dialogue, and again, it's used to make it easier and to develop the ability to process text quickly. Writing activities to develop, again, the syntactic cueing system using grammar or word order. Priming picture. Show them a picture and say, what's going on here? What do you want to say? You may talk about it first and then have them write. You may simply write, or you may simply have students talk. Anyway, a lot of ways to do this. Template writing. Students write to complete the sentence in their journal. My name is, I can blank. So then they write those 2 in their journal. And then comprehension activities based on cognitive processes. And you can see this is, I'm going to show you the Falling Star Mystery. These are Tom and Rick mystery series, high level, low reading, high interest, low reading level. Okay, you see the story preview. Pre-reading maze provides a preview of the story chapter. You read with students, give them just enough support to avoid frustration. So this tells Ricky was going to bed. He saw a blank sitting there. Then, okay, so then they fill in the blank. They find the correct one. The blank morning, Ricky and Tom go to look for it, and they find. So they're looking at creating meaning at the sentence level. But at the same time, this creates a nice story preview. And there's the complete story preview. Day 2, prototype. Starts with the language experience again. Goes to a word wall riddle review. That's a word wall, except it's on a computer screen. You can actually put these on the wall if you wish. Simple riddle, they have to look and find the word that answers that riddle. Simple riddle. Now, if you're creative, you could put these into a crossword puzzle. There's a lot of crossword generator things that you can find on the computer. You're limited only by your imagination here. A maze meaning story. Now, this is a story of 6 to sometimes 10 sentences that all reinforce the short A vowel sound. Amanda was playing ball. She blank the batter. She was the batter. So they have to go sentence by sentence to find the correct word. And then at the end, they see the complete story. And you see that story right there. And they reread that until fluency is achieved. So we are developing the semantic cueing system, but at the same time, it's reinforcing the short A within a meaningful context. Fluency again. And then writing for this lesson. Sentence combining can be done orally, in writing, or both. Students given 2 or 3 sentences, they have to combine them while retaining meaning. Samantha ran slowly. She ran around the track. Samantha ran around the track slowly. And you get the idea. All right? And then comprehension. Here we're using pre, during, and post-reading activity. For example, Tom finds a steel ball. You go through all these declarative statements and you guess yes or no if it did or didn't happen, so they know that they're looking for that. Then as they encounter it during text, as they are reading or after, Tom finds a steel ball. Does this happen? Yep. And the page number. Good. Tom sees, yeah, nope. Patches right. Yes, he does. So before you go through this and say, we have to look and decide if this happened, yes or no. So they are reading with a purpose, and this gives them a preview as to what is in that chapter. It creates a scaffold. This can be done on paper, but computer put it on PowerPoint here to make it move quickly from one to the next. All right, lesson 3. Language experience again. Word particle. To parse means to break into parts. Guess the secret word. Tell me when you know the secret word. These are all based on our short A words. If you want to be creative, you could do something like name that tune. I can name that word in one guess. Limited only by your imagination. You get the idea. Sentence mix-up, used to develop the syntactic grammar and word order. They get a mixed up sentence. Tell me when you think you know what it is. And usually about here, they know the sentence. And if you notice, these are used to reinforce short A vowel sounds again. And there are 5 of these. Fluency again. And then writing. Sentence alteration. Orally in writing, given a sentence, asked to say the same thing or write the same thing using different words or different word order. All right, so you can do this a variety of ways. Sometimes I show them and they can simply say it. I write it on the board. They can write it in their journal. They can work in a group to see how many different ways they could say the same thing, make a contest out of it. And then at the end, I just like to show them some ideas that I came up with or that the program came up with. Adopt and adapt. Comprehension here, pre, post, cause, and effect. All right, you'll be looking for the effect and causes in this chapter. So I go over these 3 so they know what they're looking for as they're reading. And I like this cause-effect-o-graph chart down there. So the first one, Tom and Ricky ride their bikes to the junkyard. What happens next? What is the effect as they are reading? So I'm giving them some things to choose from and they see the page. The same thing, that's the effect. What caused that as they are reading? Stop when you find that. Yep. Stop when you find that. Cause effect. These are cognitive processes related to effective comprehension. Level 4. Language experience again. Sentence replay. Now this one is best done using paper and pencil. The student is given 6 sentences. You can start with 3 if you want. They reread it into an audio recorder. You got iPads, you got phones, however you want to do it. As they listen, they underlined the stumble words. Now you can have them work with a partner on this, and they and their partner can go through and underline the stumble words, go over them, and they repeat the process until they can read all 6 sentences smoothly without any stumbles or miscues. Sentence replay, 2 to 8 minutes, keep it short, keep it short. And if you notice, again, I'm reinforcing the short A sound. These sentences have a lot of short A's in them. Sentence dictation, all right, I read the sentence, or if they're working with a buddy, one buddy can read to the next. Students write the sentence. After that sentence, the students look for words that do not look right, and usually they can find most of the misspelled words. And then the complete sentence is shown. They cross out the misspelled word and write the correct word on top so they can see both their misspelling and the correction. So I say the sentence, they write it down, I show them the sentence, they make any corrections. Notice these are short A, they have short A words in them, and they're fairly simple. Try to keep them 3 to no more than 6 words. Fluency again. Writing, sentence elaboration. Given a sentence, asked to make it more interesting or different, and we celebrate creative, silly, humorous ideas. They can change anything they want, but to make it different. And you get all, so this is a fun one. Who can make a spooky sentence? Who can make a Halloween sentence? Who can make a science sentence? Who can make a, so you can give them little challenges if you want. Comprehension, pre, post, predict, and again, you go through. In this chapter, the boys meet a man named Bert. He is looking for things at the farm. After talking with the boys, he leaves in a hurry. Where do you think he is going? Here's the clue. Students make a prediction and give their reason. And then lesson 5 is optional. Here, we review the 4 stories they've written previously in lessons 1 through 4, where you read each until fluency is achieved, and you can use analytic phonics if you want. Writing activity, syntax sentences. It's like daily oral language. Presented sentences that contain grammar or word error orders. Now, sometimes teachers put this on the board and students come up and make corrections. Use this any way you want. You can give them a paper, you can put them on the board, and they write the correct in their journal. So I like to show them the sentence, and there's the sentence with corrections. Word sort, this is interesting. 16 total words, and you see I've got short A on the left, short U on the right. All right, you cut them, so this is paper, you cut them into individual words. All right, they mix up the words and ask students to put them in groups. Now, sometimes you want them working in pairs or maybe 3 or 4, and a group is any 2 things that are the same or alike. Now, they can find the groups. Sometimes you may want to say by vowel sounds, beginning sounds, ending sounds, or then look for semantic groups, big things, little things, animal things, non-animal things, etc., etc. It gets them noticing letter patterns and word parts. And then guess the secret word, kind of like Wheel or Fortune. Can be played in teams, which is kind of nice, individually with a friend, showing the blank spaces, representing one of our short A words. They have to guess the letter until they can figure out the individual word. Keep it fun, keep it fun. And then finally, a free read, where they select a book that they want to read at their independent level or below, and they get to read for 5 to 10 minutes. At the end, ask students to describe, either orally or in their journal, an interesting character or something interesting that happened, and then they share in pairs. That's it. Basic overview.